Are you a family with young children and you're wondering where's the best place and neighborhoods to live in the Colorado Springs area? That's what we're going to cover in this video, and I know exactly where you're coming from because I have 4 children and I want to be a resource for you as far as helping you understand where some great neighborhoods are. Not the only ones, but a few key great neighborhoods and areas in the Colorado Springs area. Let's check them out. I connect with people just like you every day to help them discover where to live and invest in real estate and sell property for top dollar when the time is just right for them. My name is Leif Jacobson. I'm an ex-cop turned realtor, also known as Safe Leif. If you're new to this channel, subscribe so you're first to learn about Colorado real estate. My contact information is below. I'm very excited to hear from you. Reach out by text, call, or email after this video, or book a calendar event and I'll reach out to you, whatever works best for you. Okay, let's get into it. We're counting down from 5 as far as different areas that are great when you have young children. Let's cover them right now. Colorado Springs is one of the fastest growing cities in the United States. There's massive economic growth and professional growth here, as well as we have 5 military bases in town. In addition, there's over 600 nonprofit entities in Colorado Springs. So for whatever reason, it's become a hub and is an incredible spot for growth. And it's not landlocked. So basically you look to the east and you're looking out to Kansas. There's unlimited space to build and expand. And the first area we'll talk about, number 5 on the list as we count down, is Fountain, which is just about 10 minutes south of Colorado Springs. So Fountain is an area where a lot of people are talking about affordability. And that's why I mentioned all that initially, is because people talk about the growth in Colorado Springs is outstanding. But that means prices because of supply and demand. So all that is to say, Colorado Springs is pricing some people out. You're easily into, $450,000, $550,000, $600,000, $700,000 for a house in Colorado Springs. And if you need to be below that, or if you want a nicer, bigger, newer house, not up in that price range, you can look just south of the Springs in an area called Fountain. Fortune magazine referenced Fountain as one of the top 25 places to live for families in the entire United States. Fountain to the south has kind of suburbia. Lorson Ranch is a good example of, there's a couple thousand homes, thousands more being built. As far as a neighborhood in Lorson Ranch, we are kind of in suburbia, lots of kind of cookie cutter and standard homes, builders building hundreds of homes in the neighborhood. There's a lot of homes that have been built in the last few years and very affordable, again, because you're south of the city proper as far as Colorado Springs. And it's a master plan community with parks and walking trails. So it's a pretty good location, but it's considerably south of Colorado Springs proper as far as the city, so you need to be aware of that. A contrast to Lorson Ranch would be Peaceful Valley Estates, which is a neighborhood that was platted in the 1970s, so it's been around for a long time, about 50 years, and there are 5-acre lots. There's acreage zoned for horses, so a lot of people don't want to be an hour or 2, 3 hours outside of the city. They want to be near enough to the city, but outside the city far enough in order to have horses and maybe some livestock. So that's one advantage to that area. It's home to the Pikes Peak International Raceway, if you like car racing, and also is near military bases. It's not far from Peterson and Fort Carson and Schriever Air Force Base, or it's now a Space Force Base, I believe. So there's a lot of military that live down in that area because of proximity. People who don't want to live on base and they want to invest in property in the Colorado Springs area and they want to live off base, many of them go to the Fountain area. The Fountain-Fort Carson School District is the most diverse school district in all of Colorado. So some people are really looking for diversity in a school district. It's also number 33 on the 176 school districts throughout Colorado as far as a ranking. So it actually does pretty well. And it's the #1 ranked district in the entire state for athletics. So if that's a big deal for you in sports or big deal to your kids, that's something you'll want to take a look at. Because of the area like we talked about and proximity to the military bases, they really pride themselves in that area for being flexible and catering to military families and military kids and the unique needs that come with being active duty military. Average home price in Fountain is about $470,000, which is up a little bit because of all the new building that's going on there. If you're looking for a home that's decades old, you wouldn't be up in that price range. You can get a house for much less. So you can easily get a house for under $400,000 in the Fountain area if you're willing to go a little older. Average year built would be 2008, and the average home size is just over 2,200 square feet. People are often concerned about safety when they're considering where to live, and I'm happy to be a resource for you in that. I can put you toward resources. I'm not allowed as a licensed real estate broker in the state of Colorado to cite crime statistics for you or help you understand where the safety stats are specifically in any given neighborhood, in any given area. I'm not allowed to do that. It's not my willingness. I'm totally dialed into that as an ex-police officer, as a retired cop. I totally get safety. So reach out to me and I can give you some information and point you towards some resources so you can look up crime statistics and make a decision for yourself in that. The fourth region we'll go to is the Northgate area. So we went south of Colorado Springs down in Fountain. Now we're going to go up to Northgate, which is named after the northern gate of the U.S. Air Force Academy, which is a huge part of Colorado Springs culture. And you're looking at gorgeous views of the Front Range in general along the north side of Colorado Springs, a much higher price point because it's much more desirable and much more commutable to the south side of Denver. There's more dining, shopping, and entertainment in general on the north side of Colorado Springs as well. So when we're talking about kids and family, depending on what you guys like to do, that may be a draw toward the north side of Colorado Springs. There's lots of movie theaters, sports complexes, laser tag. There is Top Golf that just opened, as well as an indoor skydiving facility. And so there's lots of entertainment and amenities up on the north side. A great amenity on the north end of Colorado Springs is Great Wolf Lodge. If you've ever seen that and or been there with kids, it is a mecca, and especially in Colorado, when it's 5 degrees outside and it's super cold for months and months and months in the winter, it is really nice to go into an indoor water park. There are two more luxury communities or kind of higher end communities in real estate that I'll mention on the north side of Colorado Springs, kind of just south of the Northgate area, is Flying Horse, which is a neighborhood that's owned by Classic Homes, which is a fabulous home builder in Colorado Springs, and they've been finest in town rated for like 15 years. So Flying Horse is a higher end community. Average home price is over $1.5 million in Flying Horse. So it's definitely a higher end community with really cool amenities, and the average home price is over 5,000 square feet. So you're into sizable estates and sizable properties. And there's really cool amenities as well, like the Flying Horse Club. There's 2 golf courses in the Flying Horse HOA and a really cool recreation center with slides for the kids. It's really, really neat for the whole family as far as the amenities available there. And they also have actually a hotel, which is AAA, 4-diamond, very high-end hotel and world-class cuisine in the restaurants there. And they do some cool gatherings that are open to the community as far as kind of local festival-style stuff as well, including a 4th of July celebration. The Farm is the next luxury community we'll talk about, which is a newer platted community about the last 10 years, which is just west of Flying Horse that we were just talking about. So average purchase price about $930,000. And average size of house is just under 4,000 square feet. They have really cool walking trails. It's a neat ambiance. Now, Vantage Homes and a few other kind of higher end Colorado Springs home builders build in there, and kind of that farm style craftsman is kind of the flavor. So it's a neat neighborhood, and they built a nice rec center, which has kind of a cabana and meeting rooms and stuff where you can reserve those rooms in order to use them for your own family gatherings or a birthday party or things like that. So they've done a good job with some pretty neat amenities, and it's just off Voyager Parkway, just north of Interquest Parkway. You can hear and see Interstate 25. So it's super quick, jump right on the interstate if you need to commute north or south. So it's a great location that way, and near all the amenities we talked about earlier, and lots of chains opening. There's a big movie theater there, so lots of entertainment options as well. So averages in general are, as far as home sale prices, are 1.1 million throughout the Northgate area. Not any particular neighborhood, just talking general stats there. An average year built is 2015, and just over 4,000 square feet would be an average home size. That gives you a little idea of what's available there as far as real estate. The third neighborhood we'll talk about, or kind of area, is just on the eastern side of Colorado Springs, is Cordera, which is a master plan community that's very well designed. Lots of grass, lots of open areas, really cool large parks as well as pocket parks, we would call them, and kind of the little parks that take up a block or two here or there. But there's really neat walking paths and trails and amenities. It's right next to Wolf Ranch, which is another fabulous neighborhood as well, with some really neat amenities, and they kind of join each other. Technically, they're separate entities, but you can use all their public spaces if you're right there. So it's pretty much accessible to everybody, and it's really well done. One thing I like about Cordera is they've been intentional to foster community and communication between people there. Most of us these days don't know our neighbors. That used to be super common 60 years ago. Today, not so much. I don't know all of my neighbors. And so they wanted to foster that. So it's actually been designed as far as not allowing full 6 foot, 7 foot wood solid privacy fencing isn't allowed everywhere in Cordera, or I think most places in Cordera don't allow that. You can still do fencing, you can fence in animals and dogs and stuff like that, but they want open split rail fencing, you would call it, with horizontal rails. So more of kind of a ranch style fence, and intentionally do that because they want people chatting over the fence to your neighbor rather than not being able to see them at all because you have a solid fence in between you and your neighbor. So I like the fact I'm all about community, I'm all about relationship, I'm very relational myself, and I think it's great to design with intentionality and ambiance. Cordera was created to be walkable very specifically. I love walkable and bikeable communities, so where the trails are interdispersed and kind of wind through neighborhoods. I like the design, and I like how those all connect and interconnect with each other, as well as the parks and open spaces. It's really well done. Grand Lawn Park is a central park to the area. It's a 5-acre park where they do Easter egg hunts and have other community functions. It's one thing to put in a park, it's another thing to hold functions there and encourage, again, community interaction and building relationships with your neighbors. Cordera has a pretty nice farm-style recreation center with an outdoor pool and some meeting rooms and other kind of ambiance in the inside, as well as childcare. And for young kids, Cordera actually has storybook parks that they've put in that are based on and themed off of old storybooks and fables that we're all familiar with. So you can go and explore those, and your kids will recognize some of those characters and some of those themes. Wild Rumpus Park and Playground is based off where the wild things are. It's a 16-acre park, and there's concrete monster footprints and a sculpture of Max's scepter. Castlewood Park is 3.2 acres, and it's based off of Alice in Wonderland. With fun sculptures, it's got oversized and undersized sculptures and play equipment there, giving children and adults an illusion of being in the fantasy of being really big or really small. Happy Meadows Park is 2.4 acres and is based off of Charlotte's Web, pig and spider sculptures, challenging climbing web, Spring Rider Horse Corral, as well as mini apple orchard. The Fee Fi Fo Fum Park is based off of Jack and the Beanstalk. It's got a golden egg sculpture, unique play structures, including cornhole, ladder toss, tetherball, human foosball, and it's got some disc or frisbee golf, and benches and a grill you can use as well. Cordera is located within School District 20, which is an extremely desired school district, arguably one of the most desired school districts in all of Colorado Springs. 4 of the top 10 schools in all of Colorado Springs are located just in District 20. Cordera's location, just off the Powers or Highway 21 corridor as well, is just minutes from Target and Super Walmart and all the stores you can imagine, Costco, and everything is minutes away, as well as every dining and entertainment option you could fathom in Colorado Springs is not far from there. Average home price in Cordera is $782,000 average. And the average year built is 2020, and average square footage is just over 3,600 square feet. The number 2 area, as we continue to count down in Colorado Springs as far as families with young children, is Rockrimmon. Rockrimmon is on the west side of Colorado Springs, just south of the United States Air Force Academy. And it's an older school neighborhood, platted in the 70s, I think, 60s or 70s, and built out into the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. So Rockrimmon is fabulous. If you're an outdoor family and you love hiking and being outdoors and trails and biking, it is a fabulous area to enjoy the outdoors because you're literally right at the base of the Rocky Mountains, and there's many trails that go right into the Rockies right from the neighborhood itself. It's a pretty dramatic landscape with bluffs and valleys that come down. There's lots of topography and lots of variation, so it's different than the east side of town where it's pretty flat. They're larger and different shaped lots and property there. It's pretty convoluted as far as the streets kind of winding and twirling all over the place, again, because of the topography as well. It's not just a square neighborhood with square lots or rectangular lots like a cookie cutter neighborhood. You have plenty of custom homes, lots of larger as well as smaller homes. There's deer, foxes, wild turkey you'll see once in a while, and even bears and mountain lions will actually come down to this area. So if you have young kids, that could be a safety concern, I guess, to be fair. But I feel strongly that they're not coming down to hurt anybody or cause any problems. They're just smelling trash and garbage. Blodgett Peak Open Space is a fabulous area. It's 384 acres, and you're right in Pike National Forest. So it's right butts up to Rockrimmon. Again, super accessible for outdoor activities right there. Ute Valley Park is another amenity to have there, which is awesome, which is outstanding. It's right in the middle of Rockrimmon. It's not up in the Rocky Mountains. Right in the middle of town, right in Rockrimmon, is Ute Valley Park. It's 538 acres of open space and wilderness area right in the middle of town. It's really nice to not have to go get in your car and drive an hour or two to go hiking. Man, if you can walk across the street and get in a legit wilderness area, that's kind of a treat for people who like that. Orms Peak and Orms Peak Trail that goes up to it is also just right on the outskirt of Rockrimmon. So you can do legitimate hiking to little mountains and hills just outside of the city that are right there as well. Rockrimmon Open Space is also very intentionally designed, which is 80 acres of open space and over 1.5 miles of trails just in that open space, which is right in the neighborhood as well. Like I mentioned earlier, many of the homes built in Rockrimmon were platted in and built in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and there was a different level of workmanship back then as well as materials. Some of the newer houses actually are not built with the best materials. So if you're kind of an older goody people and don't mind a little dated finishes in an older house that's built well, Rockrimmon might be your area. Proximity to town and resources as well is an advantage with Rockrimmon, which is again just minutes opposite on the other side of Interstate 25. So you're minutes from Costco and all the other resources that I mentioned earlier. Average home price is $575,000 in Rockrimmon right now, and you're about just over 2,200 square feet as far as an average size, and average year build is 1982. Our countdown ends at number 1, which is Banning Lewis Ranch. If you can look it up online. It is a massive neighborhood, actually, in Colorado Springs. It takes up a huge portion of the city itself. This is a 50-year build plan just for this one neighborhood, and there's room for, ready for this, 120,000 homes in one neighborhood. There's about 4,000 homes in Banning Lewis right now, but the final build out will be nearly 120,000 homes. So it takes up a massive area, and they're just getting started as far as platting in, putting in their own schools. They're putting in incredible rec centers. There's splash pads and dog parks and all sorts of amenities. It's really well done and really well designed as a neighborhood, also with very intentional trails and split rail fencing, like we talked about with Cordera earlier. You're not allowed to do privacy fencing in certain areas of Banning Lewis, so neighbors will be more apt to connect with each other, and it'll just naturally happen. They have summer festivals and holiday events. There's over 75 acres of open parks at this moment, and there'll be many, many more as they continue to grow. There's the North Tree Ranch House Recreation Center, which won the Gold Nugget Award of Merit for the best public or private recreation use facility. There's high-tech fitness equipment and fitness classes they hold there as well. Banning Lewis Ranch Academy is a great school located right there. It's K through 12, and it is a free public charter school located right in the neighborhood. There are seasonal sports competing in the Tri-Peaks League, and there's an extensive extracurricular program, including music, performing arts, clubs, and community involvement. There's North Tree Park, which has soccer and baseball fields, and actually is a park with free Wi-Fi. If you need a place, an open park where you need to use some Wi-Fi, that's a unique feature. Fit and Fun Park was designed with outdoor exercise structures for kids and adults to exercise and be active together. Climbers Park is a vertical adventure playground with all sorts of kind of rock and vertical areas for kids of all ages to climb around on. Briarwood Neighborhood Park is accessible to Briarwood Bungalow residents specifically, and it has a few features, including a fire pit, barbecue court, raised community gardens, and pickleball court, as well as dog park and aquatic park. Banning Lewis is just east of the Powers Corridor that runs north and south, Highway 21. So again, your minutes, everything we've talked about today is really minutes from outstanding amenities and dining and restaurants and entertainment facilities and all the stuff that Colorado Springs offers. Average home price in Banning Lewis is right at $538,000. You're at just over 2,600 square feet as far as average size, and average year built is 2019. So there are 5 areas in Colorado Springs, not all encapsulating. There's lots of other areas where you can live and have a great time with young children in your family. I'd love to feature more. If you have another neighborhood or place where you live and you're thriving with your young children, I'd love to do another video and feature an area where you are. So reach out by text, call, or email. Love to connect with you. Look forward to hearing from you, and we'll catch you on the next video.